Hey everyone, Brento here, but in case you didn't know, that's not my real name. And in this episode, I will reveal what it really is. So you gotta listen to the whole episode and I'll tell you my real name. That's Brento, it's just it's a Hollywood name. Okay? I'm working my way into Hollywood, I'm working my way to the top here. I can't use my real name. I don't want people, chasing me down on the streets. The one thing I've been working on quite a bit the last day or so is I've been trying to get a new mic, and I bought this blue Yeti mic, and it when I test it in Windows, it sounds good. I applied some filters to it. I was running all kinds of tests, even in OBS. I'd run a fan in the background. I turned on a dripping faucet so there'd be like background noise and to see if the filters would actually work, and they did. But that Blue Yeti mic, every time I'd run it for like 10 minutes, it would just shut off. And in some cases, it would shut off the speakers and it would shut off the camera even. And it was just doing this over and over. And I've been looking into this, and it's driven me crazy. I've had like 2 hours sleep last night. Like I got it late last night, and I was up late, and then I trying to get it to work, and then earlier today, and I just finally said, you know what, forget it. I'm going to use the old mic. Even this current mic with the filters, I tried some filters on it, and they do block some background noise. But the filters, I noticed were adding my voice sounded really weird with the filters on. So I'm hoping there's no issues with that. I know the audio is a bit of an issue in this series. It's at times it even cuts out. This is the best I can do. I only have limited time to work on, either the promotion on YouTube or, getting my social media account set up. I got to write some content. I have to clip this stuff, and I have so much time to deal with microphone issues, and it's been very frustrating. Right now, I'm not recommending a Blue Yeti. Well, I could run the Windows test, no problem. It was like good quality sound, very good sound. But you can't hear it now because it just doesn't, there's something to do with the drivers or something like that, where it runs for a bit and then it just stops working. It completely shuts off. And then I'll even go and look to select it, and it's not even visible as a device on the machine. It just disappears. I understand there's this program called Logitech G Hub that I might be able to mess with after the episode. It's just one of those things. Maybe I'll do a rant on that actually while on the topic. I was going to do this in the future episode, but this is another big issue with capitalism, is that any kind of device that's kind of not targeted for the high-end rich people, typically, whether it works reliably or not is an afterthought with a lot of these companies. They sell it cheap, and quite frankly, they don't care if you're going to do anything professional with it. It's either they're not considering how to properly make the drivers for Windows, or Windows is screwing with Blue Yeti, and because they don't want their devices to work on Windows, right? So the microphone I got was actually used, but the guy said it worked perfectly fine the other day, and honestly, it does work fine in terms of if I just go into Windows and test it. But once everything's running in OBS, I got the game running, it just shuts off. It just can't deal with it, and so that this actually will be a very early rant in the show. I'm not gonna, we'll go over the city in a moment here, but I just want to get this rant over with because it's really been pissing me off since yesterday evening when I got it. That's something that should be plug and play, just isn't. And it reminded me of another story of my printer. Actually, this printer you see behind me here, this printer is probably 15, 20 years old, and it still works, but it doesn't work by default. I'm a software engineer, so I had to kind of rig it to make it work. The drivers for it are so old that they're not supported. So you can still use them, but they're not digitally signed drivers. And by default, this is another Windows scam. And again, Uh, Microsoft and Windows, they are, it was a great idea when it first came out, when this operating system emerged, but now it's nothing but a problem. Like they engineer obsolescence, and I'll explain to you how they do that. So when you get your drivers for your hardware, all the stuff you buy, it comes with a driver and it's required to be digitally signed, i.e., a third party will confirm the authenticity of it. But those signings are time limited. So even if your machine can physically run like, 15, 20 years, Microsoft, their whole process of using drivers ensures that things will go obsolete when they decide not to authorize the digital signature on the driver. There's still a way to make it work. They allow that to not be fully criminally responsible. It's not by default the way it works. And by default is if your drivers are too old, your machines, your devices aren't allowed to work because Windows said so. And that's the only reason, because consumerism, right? They're part of the problem. They want to. The ideology of capitalism is going to force you to buy something new, whether you like it or not, because of this feature of their operating system. And for me to make it work, this printer to work. I had to go to the website, download it. I think I had to go into a Windows security setting. Like you have to boot Windows in a special mode, then disable the requirement that drivers are digitally signed, and then restart Windows. You could Google a procedure how to do this. So the information's out there on how to get around the Windows virus. Then the driver would work. Okay, so. And I wonder if this microphone that I got here, again, it was a few years old. And I wonder if they just thought, well, you know what, we want to sell some newer mics and we don't really care about lower end consumers because they don't, give us as much money. So let's just make sure we have minimal, if any, support for, devices. And again, this could be a Blue Yeti issue too. Again, there are two devices they got to communicate, right? I'm going to give it a chance after the recording. I'm going to see if I can get the microphone to work. Maybe this will be the last recording you hear with this mic. But at least, even though the quality is terrible and it occasionally cuts out, at least it's running. Like by default, this Blue Yeti, and the guy that sold it to me was a nice guy. He actually. I told him about it, the issue this morning, and he said he'd give me my money back. So if you're watching, you know who you are. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. This is very hard to start out. Like I'm doing this because this is about the only thing I think I can make money doing, like to ultimately get paid for my skills, right? If you're an engineer, there was a time when engineers and lawyers were projected to make the same salaries, at least when I started going to school. I could have become a lawyer. I could have become an engineer. I thought engineer is a bit more practical. Then businesses started sourcing out a lot of engineering work to other countries. And despite, the raw abilities of an individual here, the market got flooded and the salaries went down. And it's just not viable for me to work, as an engineer. I'd rather, I think that I'm more valuable teaching, a little bit how the world works and I think this is a more productive use of my time, and I think ultimately can and will pay more. But I need a lot of likes and subscribes for that to happen. I'm dealing with other things too. I'm dealing with the algorithm. I actually discovered too that the YouTube algorithm is a little unfair to new YouTube users. It isn't. There is a bit of a filtering process, but again, I'm just going to keep making episodes. I'll do this for a year, and even if I never get favored in that year, like after a year, then maybe someone will find me. Well, I'll find them and I'll tell them. I'll clip this out and I'll say this is what's happening. People are silenced. They're not allowed to talk about Microsoft's engineered obsolescence in their design. And again, this is all, in the end, this is not even per se Microsoft's fault, but they're being one of the top companies in the world. They should be leading the way to end capitalism. They should be very, very adamant in putting people in office that insist on UBI, that this need to constantly be required to sell things in order to feed oneself, which is like what a lot of companies have to do. This philosophy is illogical. The reward shouldn't be how much you sell. The reward should be based on how well things work, right? Whether you enable the ability for people to easily fix things themselves, whether you engineer things to last much longer. In the past, it used to last quite a bit longer, and now it doesn't for this reason, because the quarterly earnings reports, right? So Microsoft, even though they didn't start the problem, I'm still, shame on you, because you're not doing anything to solve the problem. You're probably one of the top companies that could be a strong advocate against this methodology of, remuneration for work, right? It shouldn't be based purely on sales. It should be based on functionality of product. And if you've listened to the series, I've discussed many ways that could be done. Many alternative solutions to how things could operate. And if you're just not listening to them, then you're part of the problem, right? So maybe someone at Microsoft will hear this, get their stuff together, and make sure that things are like any stuff. Like, look at the economy too. This is going to get bad. People are crunched right now. Like, I'm so happy this guy who sold me the mic that I can't use is willing to buy it back. I can barely afford food. I don't know where I'm going to get a mic from. Maybe I'll look at some alternative options. Microsoft, you got to make stuff even more affordable. Make the whole thing free and make it last as long as possible. That's real economics. And speaking of real economics, we got to get back to our real economics simulator here and go over what's going on in the world. I've not started a show with a rant like that before, but I usually go over the status of things, but top of mind, and I might not have been as focused on the game itself. So let's get back to it. What's been going on in the past year? It's now 1965. There's still no great trucks been invented yet, but I guess we could start over here in Russia. Here we now got our highway. It's going all the way. It's almost into San Francisco now. So we're still working on that. I think by the end of the episode, we'll probably have this done. I might start paving this one in asphalt too. Again, we have a lot of rubles here, and our oils, from our pump jacks is getting sent to China and Russia. So we're not running out of rubles here, but the US dollars is getting to be a problem here, because we started with less and the interest rate was higher. And if we have a look here, still no, I haven't borrowed anything with rubles, but have a look here. We got 2 pages of loans here in US dollars. Interest rates up to 2.9%. And that's part of why this highway system is being built, because the transition from the Western capitalists to the rubles might be mandatory to survive in this game. If you're not familiar with the series, the previous world, this is World 2. Previous world went off the fiscal cliff, and that meant we were unable to trade with any of these foreign countries. And the game is essentially over. The nation, or socialism, failed in the first attempt. But and both currencies were an issue in the previous game. But this one, our US dollars, is actually in worse shape than the previous game, but our rubles are in much better shape. Like, we don't even have a loan. We have 800,000 rubles still to spend here. We've also built our construction facility here. We got a lot of stuff. Like, look at this. We're full on bricks, full on boards. And that's actually what I think this episode is going to be about. I wanted to call one of the episodes Hoarders previously, but I think we'll call this one Hoarders for Real. This is the Hoarders for Real episode, because we're starting off, the initial condition is we're at full capacity on resources. Like, even the factory's full here, and we're still producing more stuff that like, we can't even put it anywhere. We're full, like almost full on boards in the sawmill. So one of the things we're going to do here is, actually, let's do that right now. I started reducing the number of lumberjacks. I think I'm going to reduce it even further because we're at full capacity here. And the lumberjacks actually work at the brick factory too. So I want to slow down production here, because what do you do when you're hoarding too much? Well, stop acquiring stuff is your first step. So let's send this guy to the construction office here, and that will also, ensure that the goods being pulled out of the construction office are getting used up faster. So we want to balance this. We want to empty out our open storage. I set up this route where it would just pick up bricks and wood and just sell them to help deal with our US dollar crisis here, just because we need a little bit of money. But eventually, once the inventory goes down a bit here, I'll put that open whole truck back in the construction office, and we'll use these goods. But we just have so many of them because we're hoarding too much. Another thing that's been going on is I started putting a few more workers to our vehicle repair station. I noticed that when we start repairs, if you run out of workers during the repair, it seems to just stop the repair, and then it also adds the debuff where you can't repair again. The 1-year debuff gets added to it, which means it sounds like you never ever want to run out of workers in here. So I scheduled a few more vehicles to visit it, because it seems like they're always able to find some vehicles to do some repairs. And ultimately, it appears as if it's cheaper than buying vehicles. So that should be working a little bit smoother here. As for stuff in the city itself, the cathedral, we're at 50% built. Actually, we have, look at that, all the resources are on site, so we don't even need the bricks anymore. And if you have a look, oh wow, I didn't even notice this, our cinema is done. So when people start living in Los Angeles again, we'll start getting some culture out of this. But I'm not going to be bringing people in just yet, because from prior experience, just having one amenity is usually not enough to get them to stay. I want to have at least this, the cinema, the cathedral, the shopping center, and sewer, water, electricity, all kind of in place. Maybe one of these schools or kindergartens will be built. I don't want to start filling up the city just yet. That's sort of planned for, hopefully next episode we can start on it. The previous episode we built this little house here, and a few people moved in, but this is what happens when they don't have any services. They just left. 100% vacancy already. And I don't get it. Like, if you got okay, sure, they don't have the church, but is that really the difference between Los Angeles and San Francisco? Is the church? Like, this, they have a church here, but we lost ours. But they still, like, they live in, well, actually they don't live in here. See, that doesn't make sense. Why does everyone move out of San Francisco? Like, nothing here happened. They still have their church, and the population's zero. Like, I started building some roads to it, but all these buildings are empty. Zero productive age workers. Meanwhile, I started another city here, renamed one of the default cities to Chicago. This city has nothing, like less than San Francisco. Do they want to live here? Of course they want to live here. There is always going to be some capitalist involved in any project, right? There's someone with a little bit more money and or time and or resources or connections, Someone could say, well, I didn't put money into something, but if you get like 3 people to help you, that's the same thing. That's your privilege. That's common in like academia, where just professor has some grad students and it's like, well, I didn't spend any money on this. No, you have a bunch of grad students doing all your work for you. That is money. That's misleading when you say that when other people are helping you at a very low cost, that you did it without money. No, that's a lie. That other people have to spend money for that same privilege. You got free money given to you. But yeah, for some reason, the default cities, they remain populated despite having, definitely they don't have electricity, sewer, water, nothing, just the church. But San Francisco, it's like as soon as you build a road, they all want to leave. There's something to do with the AI, but I know you can get them to stay once you give them enough amenities. Like again, it seems like it's kind of rigged to simulate, this is the hardest setting, right? I chose this hard setting, so we'll see how it plays out. But let's get a little bit of playing in here. We'll try to keep things as action-packed as possible. It's a good thing I paused there when I was doing my rant. I learned I got a couple of interesting facts here. And don't forget, I'm going to tell you my name later in the episode. My real name. It's not Brento. That is not my real name. One of the things that I learned is that, the Hollywood sign? I was not aware that sign, each letter is 45 feet tall. Isn't that crazy? It's like 4.5 stories tall. Like at that distance, it doesn't look that big. A 3-story apartment building would be smaller than the Hollywood sign. I didn't know that. It would be shorter. So, interesting little fact I came across. See, part of the game is it's like you're tuning things so that things work at the right speed. Okay, this guy's about to grab a bunch of bricks. So it's about to fill up. And this might work nice. So it fills up. It fills up. And then, just in time, right? Just in time. It almost got to 56, but this guy here started loading them. But we're hoarding, we're pushing the limit on hoarding here, okay? Maybe we could find a project to enable here that definitely needs bricks. Okay, this will need bricks eventually. Let's get our hospital built. The thing with hospitals in this game, they do 2 things. When someone has a medical emergency, they send an ambulance out and it takes care of them. But the other thing is people have to go for regular checkups. So they have to be in walking range. So it does improve the quality of life just in the area by preemptively dealing with issues. Like if we sell enough of these bricks, we should eventually not have to borrow money. We could be a net positive, but one of the principles here, again, imperial overstretch. Again, I learned this in another video game, this concept of doing too many things at once. Like if we tried to build all these things at once, they never, you lose the game when you do that. It's kind of like American imperialism, right? If it overstretches itself, it collapses. You cannot control everything. It is nice to have ambitions to do such things, but much like the U.S. System, you can only reasonably control so much stuff. And if you don't pick and choose your battles, you will ultimately lose all your battles because you're overstretched and you're coming in a near second place over and over. So I think that's one of the things for the U.S. to survive in the future. First off, it has to acknowledge that it is not the superpower anymore. China's the superpower. They rewarded their engineers when they were in the 80s. They had programs to Like you, it, an engineer in China, as far as I know, is it's the same caliber job as a lawyer or a doctor. It's a highly revered position, and because of that, the long-term benefits are now starting to pay off. That yeah, they make more weird stuff in China. That they have more engineers than they really need, but out of that, you get a bigger pool of products, like the BYD car company, right? Biggest EV company in the world, I believe. And they simply by having so many engineers putting so much think time, like in Canada, the US, for example, if an engineer is going to plan something out, they have to do all the work, or at least you have a small team of engineers. But in China, you might have 5 times the engineers, so they can really focus in on products, and they don't have like the marketing, the legal, like all the other non-value added investment. So as a strategy, that appears to be better because you can try to convince someone with a piece of paper that they should give you all their money, but in reality, that's across the ocean, like in China, they don't. That's not going to really work. So um, the U.S. has to come to terms with its poor strategic decisions and not uh, continue to waste energy trying to um, spread further. Like it needs to start consolidating and learn from China. And again, like they really do need to socialize things. And this game, like legitimately, there's some things I do in this game I think are better ideas than what real, financial planners do in the U.S. A leverage is a zero sum principle in economics. Like one person gains money at the expense of someone else. So whenever you have an economy, like if you just say, well, I doubled sales this year, yeah, it depends on if those sales of products are more at the opportunity cost of what better than what the consumer is previously spending. If it's not better, you've actually worsened the economy through selling things. But usually, as innovation happens, that's not true. Like usually, the as you sell better stuff, things get better on average. But maybe this episode should be called "Engineered Obsolescence." That might be a better clickbait title. I think what the topics come up so many times here, but I think it's appropriate for this episode. Again, the whole reason you're not listening to me on a high quality microphone for this episode is thanks to engineered obsolescence. I just they made it so that the microphone I wanted to use wasn't quite plug and play with this laptop and operating system, and I have finite time. Again, time is money. All things are measured in time. Money is crystallized time. I've said that like 50 times in the series. So, and what's the economy? It's efficiency times scale. If you're watching this, you are learning how to manage resources better. If you disagree with this or you have some other notion of reality, well, play the game. Beat me. Win at it. Otherwise, you're not worth listening to. You can get a degree, and that degree can be used to replicate, bullshit information at the, privilege of other people. So just because you're taught something doesn't mean what you were taught was useful or accurate, right? And like think about it. They used to teach doctors that um, leeches were the solution to um, like they'd bring in their leeches and everyone looked around them like they were some sort of genius. And today the same thing happens, but the doctor thinks he's smart and the sycophants think he's smart. But I'm objectively rational. I look at it and go, if I don't see results, you're not smart. If those medicines you sell don't really make a difference, like I'm on blood pressure medicine, and I started taking it. I was supposed to measure the change in results, but I go to the store and the machine doesn't even work anymore. Like everything's falling apart in society. And if I don't see results from the medicine, I'm going to say my doctor is not, not a good doctor. I will look at finding a new doctor shortly if the medicine doesn't work. Why would you prescribe something that does not work? And he was very confident in it too. But just because you're taught something does not mean you really know anything. You were just taught to repeat something. And in many cases, doctors are often advised, like from what I understand, they get paid more to sell more pills, basically. So again, I won't say totally fake job, but and I'm not going to include that. This isn't a fake job with that yet, but maybe an element of that can be considered a fake job. No, I don't have any fake jobs for this episode, but yeah, a lot of people are taught nonsense. They get paid a lot of money and they really don't do anything. What do they call it? Demand pull economy. They just consume, therefore make everyone else work. I tried to get another mic, but it just doesn't work. Like the show is about the very problem I'm having, and no one's gonna watch the show because of the problems that these rich jerks are got to be dealt with. You got to start. You got to make things work better. There's really no excuse for it. Okay, but that's a bit of a rant there. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting. I was talking about Imperial overstretch, but I got a little sidetracked. I do want to focus on the game quite a bit here, and then I'm not going to reveal my actual. I am going to tell you my actual name this episode, but I'm not going to tell it till near the end because but not at the end. So then, if I told you at the end, you just skip over. It's okay. I'm going to tell you somewhere shortly. Oh, okay. Wait. There we go. There's something I wanted to keep on. Now that this has a gravel road going to our little coal bin here, let's finalize this route. So this was going to, was just delivering to the brick factory, but really it should go here. It couldn't get into the brick factory, so that's why it, couldn't get into the storage facility, could only get to the brick factory. So now if we deliver here, we don't have to worry about this one. And I don't want to use a distribution office for this one. This one is going to, like, a single truck dropping off coal. We're going to use that coal for bricks. We're going to use it for heat eventually. I know it's economically inefficient to buy stuff that you don't really need, but I'll probably catch it before it fills up to 870 tons. This will probably take a year before it gets full. And just one truck doing it, I think, will be okay. And so when it gets dropped off here, it goes into the brick factory, but it will also go into the cement plant. And just an FYI, maybe we can clip this as a bit of a tutorial. According to what I'm reading, when these conveyor systems can mix aggregates, we'll see shortly if this works. But so we have the gravel going in here and coal going in here. And earlier we had some space issues getting these because this one needs coal and this one needs gravel. And getting they couldn't fit over top each other. But apparently you can mix them on the same conveyor here and it will figure it out. Like if coal and gravel go in here and coal's needed here and gravel's needed here, it will sort itself out. So that could be a bit of a tip if you're looking to save space with your conveyors, that they do mix if you happen to be playing the game. Another thing I did between episodes is I set up this long-range distribution office. And I bought one of these. Look at this. It can hold 30 tons of steel. This seems broken. This is like twice the capacity of any other open haul vehicle. Now it is, I think it's the most expensive one you can buy, but it's like significantly higher than, like, look at this one here, this open haul. Look at it, 13 tons of steel capacity versus this one here, which is 30 tons. And it's, the price difference isn't, like, this isn't twice as much, I don't think. And this thing also goes 90 kilometers an hour. So it's going to really take advantage of these asphalt highways. And what it does is it's going to bring steel and prefab into these buildings here, into the vehicle repair station. Oh, we don't have enough mechanical components. Actually, let's hit pause here. This is a problem. See, what I wanted to also do this episode is set up a distribution office, a local one for the city here. I think I'm going to, actually, let's do that now. I freed up 2 distribution offices between episodes, so we need them to service the city, to maintain the buildings of the city. Like, once the mall is in operation, and once we need chemicals for water, we're going to need something that supplies these things. And you don't need the big closed hull vehicles for that. But I think maybe we should put this here. We had one here before. I think maybe we should return it. In conjunction with this other distribution office here. See, this distribution office has, I want to have a big, like, these are big trucks. And they take things from China, and then they go down our high-speed highway here. It's a much longer distance, but high volume at high speeds. This then reduces our dependency on the US dollar, so we in theory won't go off the fiscal cliff as fast by doing this, because we seem to have infinite rubles. So what I want to do is set up this distribution office. What we should be doing is just dropping off the stuff from China directly to the warehouse and to the open storage facility. See, we make our bricks and wood, but we don't have prefab panels and steel. And then this distribution office, what it should do is it should manage the smaller facilities, because it'll have smaller trucks. So let's do that right now. We'll send one here, and it will pick up stuff from there, and it will drop it here. And then we'll also drop it here. That's this is our pub, right? And it will drop stuff here too. And once our mall is ready, maybe by next episode, because this is queued up to start getting built soon, I'll add it to the service range. So now what this does is, rather than going all the way to the Canadian border and using buying the expensive stuff, it just gets it from here for free. Well, it was paid for in rubles, right? So we're kind of doing a currency hack here a little bit to manage our money more efficiently. But we have to get it in the facility before it will show options. Okay, so the things we wanted to pick up, actually, hold on a second. We were supposed to be doing this with a forklift, but it's just not ready yet. That's the problem. So the stuff that the vehicle repair station needs isn't being automatically delivered yet. So we'll choose electrical components, mechanical components, plastic, electronics, fabric. I think we have fabric in there. Yeah, we're supposed to store fabric in there. So this will do the job of the forklift for now. But actually, we also need it to be, okay, I don't think we're going to have to buy some regular price chemicals here. We don't need much of them. It's like a one-time deal. I don't want to have a regular route. Like, basically, it'll pick up chemicals from the custom office here. So load chemicals or alcohol, and bring it to the pub or water treatment facility. Lastly, let's add some food here too, and that should be good. Once we add the mall as a destination to this distribution office, and we'll make a permanent one. Once you have the technology, we'll make a slightly bigger one, like a full-time thing. So once the city's like fully functional, we'll have a permanent spot for it. But we're still in the very early stages of this game. I don't want to have to think about how these, buildings get full. I don't want to be setting up manual routes. So let's just have one of them set up for that for now. And I think another thing we could do is possibly add one of these open haul trucks to that office as well, because I want it to also be so let's do that. We'll get it in there. I want to find there's a vehicle that's delivering here, and I want to find it because it's not using a distribution office. Okay, so it's supposed to be picking up stuff. It's on its way, I guess. Yeah, the road, like again, everything's so slow. The roads, we got construction going on here. It's like technically it's using a mud road right now, so it has to go around. So that's kind of the cause of it. But I think we have enough plastic in there. But yeah, those electrical or mechanical components get eaten up by the repair facility so fast. Yeah, we got more than enough plastic. So what I'm going to do is this, like even though it's not there, what it should be doing, because yeah, so this vehicle here, see, look at that. It's doing just what we told it to do. One of the things we were hoping it would do is it looks for the warehouse for plastic, and it's bringing it to the vehicle repair station because it needs it. See, you don't want to use big trucks for servicing the smaller buildings in your city because they have way more capacity than any individual building needs. So it's just really inefficient. So that's what this facility is for, right? This is the big trucks that brings it to the warehouse or the open storage facility. But I think, and we'll have some other warehouses set up in the city too, and they'll bring stuff from China. This is how real life works. This isn't. This is a very realistic game, right? This is kind of how it really works. I want to find that big truck here. I want to change this route to be only picking up mechanical components because we have enough plastic in there right now. Let's just do it this way. So from now on, it's only going to pick up mechanical. It's just going to. That's as fast as you can do it. It's just getting a biggest covered hull truck delivering full loads of mechanical components, not even using a distribution office, directly to here as fast as it can, right? Where is it though? That's not it. I think it must have gotten gas or something. Oh, it's getting gas. That's what happened. So it got like all the way up to here, and then it turned around. So, do I need gas? Well, you don't have any gas stations though, so we can't build any free ones anymore. We should probably set up a permanent one. Like this gas station's kind of close, but that's a bit of a detour. Like we want one in this area, I'm thinking. Mind you, when this end station's built, a lot of stuff will just visit this area and get automatically filled. Maybe just bad luck there that it just happened to run out at the worst possible time. So I saw this video on the Ringling Brothers, and did you know they had a mile-long train? It was 1.6 kilometers, and that's how their carnival would go from town to town. It was literally a moving city. People, the whole enterprise, the owners, the performers, and the animals, and all the equipment. And this went on until like the early 2000s. It didn't get made obsolete till the internet came out. And I think it was one of the longest regular operating trains in the world. And all the carnivals, did that. Like in the 60s and 70s, there was multiple of these super long trains. Because this is what people looked at before YouTube existed. This was their entertainment. They couldn't just, sit down and watch stuff on a computer monitor. They had to go to a show, and you'd see all kinds of freaks at the show, of course. And you would also see uh, like animals, like lots of elephants and tigers. And apparently, what would happen is once the train got to its destination, like it would park in an area. Like you can't just leave a mile-long train. Like it disassembles itself at the destination. And some of the cars like would be in this area for like a few weeks or maybe a month, then would go into the next city. But apparently, it was common for people to like get one of their cars or one of their housing wagons, performer wagons, pulled to the side, and it would be they're involved in a lot of accidents. Is that this was like people would live there, right? And another train might not know it was just parked on a certain leg of the track, and it was a very common thing for accidents to happen this way. It's just such a crazy, fascinating element of U.S. history. This whole the circus and the rail system that enabled it all, right? It was just absolutely insane. So it's definitely something you want to just look into it. It's just and the size of that train, that's insane. 1.6 kilometers long. For the most bulk of its history, it was well over a kilometer long, like several blocks long of train. Just like you could live on one half of the train and not see the other half. You wouldn't even like there'd be performers on the vehicle you're on that you wouldn't even meet probably for months. It was that massive. It was a whole culture. There was like favorite wagons. Um, that like they had service wagons that only served the people of the circus on the train. Like not the train wasn't expressly designed for people that like it wasn't exact like all for shops for this town it went to. It had shops for itself, like internal businesses, and I just thought that was fascinating. So some just weird historical thing. We invested a lot of money in that really big open haul truck, and it's never going to stop working. It's going to be hauling stuff from China indefinitely. If I ever see that thing parked, I'm going to freak out. But yeah, that's gonna. Okay, what's going on here? No workers. It's just oh, they got no work to do. What's going on here? Surely they got work to do. Surely, why aren't they working on this? What are we waiting for here? Just workers. Well, we have some buses here, don't we? Actually, you know what? Let's send a bus. Where's the bus? There it is. Or maybe it seems to take forever. It's a long stretch here. And these buses here, we're gonna have to match them. Like we're gonna send our faster buses. Like this better be an 85 kilometer an hour bus. Okay, it is. I think that's the fastest one we can buy. Let's just have a look here. See if there's any. Oh, we got some micro buses here. I think too. Maybe we should grab. We only have one vehicle there, and let's just see if we got a lineup of vehicles somewhere. It's too busy. Okay, all our workers are being taken out of there. I guess it just let's just. I don't want to overdo anything there. Well, I started making this into gravel as well. So this is. I noticed a lot of vehicles were taking this shortcut to get to do stuff here, because I think remember they'll sometimes automatically drive to the repair station, and so I imagine if they're in this area, this becomes kind of the logical way they would do it. But that's going to take some time for it to finish. Okay, this has everything in stock. This should be repairing like crazy. We can find a vehicle that's parked here doing nothing that needs repairing. Ooh, 61%. There we go. Let's do that. We'll just send it over. Like, if it's not doing anything, it's not like this is the time to repair it. We'll get some action soon enough, I'm sure. But yeah, let's go over these here. 45%. Yeah, 3. That's too recent. We'll have to live with that. See if there's anything here. Needs repair. Maybe a snow plow or something. No. I want to get back to that plumbing too. I just want to, like, we don't have any water. See, I think we can peek at, I think now that our repairs are going good, our workers are balanced. Everything looks sort of normalish. I'll just keep an eye out for any kind of tattered vehicles. This thing's kind of can't be repaired yet, though. Actually, we could send. We were just talking about a surplus. Is this an 85 kilometer and not 75? Yeah. Oh, let's send the car over. That's probably the car's definitely going to take advantage of this asphalt. Yes, there we go. An extra vehicle. The car is good for like small jobs, but given that everything, like, we have no asphalt in this part of the map, so I kind of want to move the cars over there anyways. I might set up a permanent construction office in that zone shortly too, maybe between episodes. Like, I almost didn't want to do this episode just because I had so many issues and I didn't want to do it with the old mic, but maybe this will be the last one with this mic. I want the show to go on at a pace where you're not missing too much information and have it reasonable quality. So for that reason, I'll reschedule when I do a recording if needed. But I think we're going to have to do a bit of a maintenance. Maybe it'll be a bit of a test on the mic on Monday, I guess. But normally I would record, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, before I forget, let's get some water here, because I'm doing this between things right now. This isn't super precise plumbing system. You know, I'm not getting paid to do that precisely. Speaking of which, it takes some free money. How do you get paid at your job? Someone just asks for money from someone else. That's how you get paid. That's where it comes from. Okay, so I think that's okay. We'll have a water pump, or one there. See, that's going to cover a lot of buildings. Okay, I'm going to tell you my real name now. This show, we got like that's. I'll tell you my marketing thing, which I think is more interesting later. But maybe I'll save it for another episode. But my real name isn't Brento. My real name is Brent. It's not Brento, it's Brent. So there you go. There's the big reveal. You watched, hopefully you watched a good chunk of the show where you went crazy scanning through. Maybe you found a way to search it to figure it out. This is a big city, okay? If you aren't familiar with the game, you might not realize how much, how significant this is. Because I know, like in the previous game, you do run out of water. And this is going to be as dense, as urban a city as we can make. Like, I'm thinking of things for like future seasons. And in future seasons, I might play with add-ons. And maybe in add-ons, we have super tall buildings, right? We bulldoze all these houses and get like the LA skyline. Maybe someone in Los Angeles will make it. Oh, what's this guy up to? Okay, this guy. Okay, he has to drop off his fuel though. I hate when I need to repair them, but they have stuff in their in the vehicle because it can be a little problematic. Ooh, this guy looks like he was. Yeah, see, look at that. Good as new. We'll send him back to China here. We might have some more road to work on. Which one of these? Oh. Let's go here. Okay. Oh my. I think we're done the next segment. Yep, we are. We got to start working on it. Got to go to. You know what? Let's do both these at once. It's not much backtracking if they. Yeah. Let's get the next legs done. I don't want to go to the second half. I just want to get 2 legs done. You know, as always, you do them, you build your way out. You don't start from the back and work your way forward because they use the road that they're, you know, once we start the next segment here, they'll get there faster because this segment's built. Oh, just noticed something though. See, this is what causes problems in the world. When something out of your corner of your eye, you miss it. Right? Like it can cause in this game, the whole game, cause civilization to collapse, basically. I think this series will get quite a bit more fascinating once the city, like virtual Los Angeles, is built and there's a lot of activity. I think if you saw the first, the intro series, one of the reasons I did that, I showed that scene early, is because I don't want you to like get. It's like becoming a top YouTuber. You don't want to get dejected on the building process. It is a lot of work, right? What you like a person who has 100,000 subs, that's that's a full-time job at that point. And from what I understand, that's you getting paid for that, and that's my goal is to this I want to in this year I want to get up to 1,000. Maybe the next year I get up to 10,000, and then 100,000 in 3 years. That is the goal, long-term goal, right? And then that's my retirement. I think that is a good way to make money. And again, I'm older, so it's like, what else am I going to do anyways, right? There shouldn't be. Here, I'm going to do a bit of a rant here. There shouldn't be young people on streaming. It doesn't make sense because you're able to do the work that older people can't do. Like, I'm not as physically gifted as when I was working on the oil rigs. I did my time, and my body isn't what it used to be, right? So why, like, people who are physically, like, if you're under age 40 and you can physically do a job, like, you don't have afternoon naps randomly because you don't have the endurance to last a day. That's that should be something that I think younger people should do more. There needs to be more diversity. There needs to be, okay, have a representation of younger gamers. Obviously kids, have some kid influencers, whatever. Have some people in their 20s, 30s, but we're the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s. Like, when I used to play World of Warcraft, there was a guy, I guess I could say his game name. His name was Ralos. I don't know I don't know his real name, but in World of Warcraft, but he was an older guy. And when I was playing World of Warcraft and we were raiding, he was much older than us. Like, I was in my late 30s, and I think he was at least 50, maybe even 60. Like, he was an older guy. He's older than me, and now I'd be even older. But we're his streamers, right? Like, he should be a streamer, is what I'm saying. That older people, there needs to be more, like, some role models, right? Where are they? There's very few. It's like you have these, 30-year-old executives who only relate with 30-year-olds, so they think everyone should be a 30-year-old, and that's what they create all jobs for. But that's, get yourself an MBA and learn about the principle that, target people that are, you know, you want to target people that match a demographic. If you're a white older person, then you're going to relate to white older people. It's just how it works. They'll trust you more. You're a better influencer if the demographics are matched. And that's, again, I'm partly doing this because 50-year-old gamers, I'm like, there aren't many. And if you want to have optimized revenues, you want popularity to grow, whether it's capitalism or socialism. You want influencers regardless. This is a key thing. And I think Twitch, YouTube, I imagine Kick, and all the other platforms that, maybe X. I might even try X gaming. Who knows? We'll see. I'm going to get on Twitter. That's one of the things I'm going to do a little bit more. Is I'm going to really, I'm going to comment a lot and see if I can get noticed, get some fans, and then, sticky a link to this channel. But yeah, the demographics. I think it's not evenly distributed. It's not centrally planned enough. And I'm taking initiative here. I'm sure there are some other older people in my market, but there's just not enough. And as I go from 50 to 60, a lot of people I know are going to start retiring, and they might get into games, and maybe they'll watch my videos, right? And this is a game that I'm pretty sure older people like. This is not, I'm not saying younger people wouldn't like it, but this is more of a thinking game. It's not a muscle memory twitch reflex kind of game. So I think that's something that needs to be thought of more. Give a few more impressions and target the right people. Target older gamers. It's not, I have some friends that, and this is shocking, because this lets me know that the YouTube algorithm isn't perfect, because I have some friends who might be interested in this specific game, who are in my age brackets, and I don't want them to sign up. I don't tell them to view my channel. The secret project I have here is I wanted them to get an impression and find out about me through the algorithm. This way I know the algorithm's working, but they haven't found it yet. And I think they'd like to play this game. I don't know if they play many builder games, but they're familiar with them. I think they have. But they would definitely be interested in this game. I'm sure they've seen some game streamers, but the people I know aren't getting the impressions. But yeah, I think that the algorithm needs to consider the aging gamer. It's this is the future. Okay, you're not, is Twitch gonna fold once everyone gets too old? A game's gonna become out of style? No, this is just the beginning. So that's my rant on that. I gotta have enough rants in an episode. Sometimes I have too many rants. I was talking about the show to someone the other day, and I'll get into it in just a second. Let's review a clippable clip. He thought it, like I just was describing it, and he was fascinated by it. I didn't find it fascinating, but again, what I find fascinating, some people don't find fascinating, and what I don't find fascinating, other people can find fascinating. One of the principles of the show, right? Record a bunch of stuff, clip out the highlights, and hopefully get a few thousand impressions. And right now I'm getting double-digit impressions. Again, you can't blame it for my mic. I tried. They engineered the obsolescence of the mic I just bought, and that's not my problem. That's capitalism's problem. So capitalism can't punish me for not being capitalist enough. I guess it could, but that would be self-defeating, because you want, sure, it's not the highest quality sound, but I listen to the episodes, and I get used to this crappy mic. There's a few parts where I should probably put some like some explanations what's happening with the mic, but uh, the you get used to it. It's not you're listening. This is the background noise. I've said background noise in every single one of my videos, I think, and that's for a good reason, because that's what the long format podcast is all about. Is the background noise. We're gonna give this spot a city name. We'll have to do that in a future episode. Well, I don't know what to call that. Maybe this should be Dallas. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we could do it right now. Let's call it Dallas, because Houston's over here. I don't know. I want all the big cities here. Dallas, Houston. Maybe the AI will tag it and get Americans watching this as you watch your mismanaged society. Again, I live in Canada, so I'm not really. I don't have much skin in this game here, but Canada's honestly, it probably has worse problems than the U.S. Like, if you're not careful, U.S., you'll turn into Canada. There isn't socialism here. It's socialism for the super rich. That's what Canada currently has. It is like the end of full end stage capitalism. They got the healthcare, but even that works as a for profit in the end, because the way they don't do it performance based pay, they do it spending based pay. So as long as you spend, you get a certain budget given to hospitals. If you save the money and don't spend it, you get a bigger bonus as a manager, which is insane. That's absolutely not how it should work, but that's how it does work, and they never really fixed it. So be careful, U.S. You could end up with a worse problem, and you could turn into Canada. It's so much work to get this infrastructure set up, but eventually this will be all automated. By episode 30, this will all be like developed and just be like an afterthought, and we'll be doing really cool new stuff, right? Once I'm getting into the double digits of subscribers, that will be all cool over there. And in the future episodes, when we're talking about the microphone, the garbage microphone, again, it might be Microsoft's fault. I'd rather blame Microsoft. Logitech's got problems too. Like, I am not pleased with what I saw from that mic. Again, the guy who's such a nice guy for saying, like, he sold a used mic, and maybe it worked on his system. Maybe he had the drivers for it, but it does not work on my machine. Like, it not only did it turn off does it shut off after 10 minutes of recording? Like, it works when I test it. Like, I can get a nice quality sound, but it just shuts off after 10 minutes. And inexcusable. Like that. This is not, if you're a small startup and you don't have the resources, but if you're a big company and you're hiring too many marketing people and other people that can't make a better product, and then your product doesn't work like this, you're responsible. Like, the people who planned it out are just directly responsible for it. This isn't an unsolvable thing. You just didn't put any effort into solving it. So that's the core problem. Because once you got the money, you don't care. But now you should care, because now I'm telling you, this is out for the world to hear about this microphone that it would shut down after 10 minutes, and I would turn off my speakers. Like, if I had the headset on, or if I was using the speakers on the device, they would shut down too. And even the camera would shut off, and I had to restart it. And even after disconnecting the microphone, my camera stopped working. Like, that's insane. It was probably related to a suggestion that the USB root drivers be reinstalled, and I had to toggle some switches and it came back on. But I mean, come on, why did I have to even do that, right? Like why? Like, and that's another thing. Let's call this engineered obsolescence, because another little dirty trick they like to do is they like to give you these support forums, like tell you a bunch of things that if you follow some of the steps, you're going to actually make the problem worse. I'll say half the public information on the internet is not accurate information on how to fix stuff. It actually causes things to break more. And the algorithms that rank them high favor the companies that will sell you more stuff. And that's very problematic because you're selling basically misinformation for profit. And that's awful too. I was hoping to have a nice microphone working for you, but I made the cardinal sin of not spending more money than I had. You know, I was being too frugal. So rather than giving me a lower quality sound, they just gave me a completely non-functioning microphone, because that's all you can get for if you don't have enough money. It's just nothing at all, or just the impression of having a microphone. So I'll give the Logitech Hub tool a chance. I think there might be some settings in there that, and if I do figure it out, I will update the next video. And I'll explain the setting, but if I have to do it that way, you're still getting, this isn't coming down. If I have to waste my time to fix something that should be automated, it's not a plug and play device, even though I believe it is advertised as such. You're going to get it. You know, you're going to get a report on that. And you can't just say, well, it was plug and play for the first 2 years when all the drivers were obeying the spend as much as you can philosophy we have. But that's not good enough either. Things are running smoothly though, right? As we get like, nothing's clearly working very poorly in the world right now. We're not off the fiscal cliff. We're under, like, our capacities are getting good here. Look, we got a good amount of steel, a good amount of prefab panels here. You know, we sold one item you sold one thing on eBay classified to get a new thing or another used thing. That's the way to do it, right? Sell some stuff you don't need for money and then use that money to buy stuff you do need. That's how you... I don't think we're going to call this the Hoarders episode. We'll have, even though I said it's going to be called Hoarders for real, it won't be called Hoarders for real. That'll have to be another one, maybe. Because this engineered obsolescence topic took over. It just took over. And it's one of the most infuriating things, too. I have all these appliances that, you know, I bought numerous appliances in the past decade. I'll say 7 different appliances for various reasons, of which in less than 10 years, 6 of them have had at least one repair required for it to continue to operate. Meanwhile, appliances sold from before that, you know, 20, 30 years, it lasts for 20, 30 years. I have a freezer that's 50 years old. Like, how does that make sense? Why does the old stuff last longer, right? Capitalism is just cancer. It's just such narrow, short-term thinking, and you get rewarded for being that way. So the people at the top are just a bunch of people that think this way, like smarmy toads who, you know, if confronted with actual, like if they were put in the situation they're putting people in, they wouldn't be able to adapt. So hopefully that comes to an end soon enough. Let's see if this is, let's see if someone finds this guy. It might be in range of this repair station. It might be. Oh, it's a little short. I think we're going to run this one into the ground. 86%. Oh, it needs a lot of asphalt too. You don't have enough. Let's send it in for repairs. This is going to fall apart. This thing. You can't. It's going to be completely broken soon. And let's send a dumper over there. See if we got any spare dumpers. See, maybe we could buy another one. I don't know if we have any new ones on the market, but wonder if, imagine if you're watching this and not just listening as background noise. Sometimes you're thinking, is he going to make his payment on time? And I get really close sometimes. There is a real-time element to this. Oh, it disappeared right in front of me. I didn't even click it. It just ran out. The deal that I wanted expired right in front of my eyes. I saw something the other day at the used vehicles where there was a used one that was more expensive than a new one. It's so ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to tell you my idea for marketing. It's a little late in the episode. I don't know if you lasted this long, but maybe you're interested in marketing, and I think this is a good idea. So I know I advertise this a lot as background noise, and I claim that this has the appeal of Bob Ross. I want to market it that way. So sometime in the coming weeks, when I have everything else figured out, when my social media is running good, I got good audio, got good video, I want to do an intro, and I want to actually do some other marketing related material that presents me as Bob Ross, where I'm going to take my hair up and I'm going to curl it up and I'm going to make it look like Bob Ross's, and I'm going to get an easel and a paintbrush, and I'm going to introduce myself that way, like Bob Ross, and then I'm going to paint on the screen or the screen beside me, and then go, what the, I painted on my screen. And that's how I want to present it. Because I think that would be a bit funny too. Because I think that's, people recognize the name Bob Ross. And this is probably the closest thing there is today to it. With a little bit of with politics and social commentary and some stupid comedy mixed in there. So that's how I want to promote the show. I think that would get people to watch it more. I think that's more the target market. So YouTube AI, target Bob Ross viewers. Thank you. That's all I got to do, right? It will decode my audio and understand the command, and then give the impressions to the correct people, right? People that have watched Bob Ross. Like, watch any kind of popular show out there, like Colbert or something like that, or there's one on Fox News there, Dumpy or something like that. What's his name? He's a comedian too. He's like the right-wing Colbert. If you actually listen to a lot of things they talk about, it's just plain stuff. It's less interesting than this show. It just objectively is. If I were to say the exact same words they were to say, you would turn the show off instantly. It's that uninteresting. The question is, why do you listen to it? Why do you tune in? And as I understand it, it has to do with the notion of money and power. That these people, because other people watch them, other people in society want to know what other people know. And the people with money and power have the most influence. Therefore, if you have the influence of money and power, you are listened to, even if your content and the quality of it is not even average, right? But other people have to know what's going on. Like, does Elon Musk, where does Elon Musk like to travel? I would like to know this. Or, what's his favorite food? Because I want to be like him and be in his good favor, because I could get some long-term reward, and other people that think that way will think like him, and therefore I will be better off in life by knowing what other popular people want. And I think that's the reason why, ultimately, even if the content is subpar, that famous people will be listened to anyways. But in the long run, I don't think that's generally enough strength for a show. Like, you'd be better off having a show that is also an influential person with useful information and interesting content. So, again, when I watched Bob Ross, I never knew how to paint. Like, I I did water paints as a child, right? And that was about my knowledge of painting. But, phthalo blue and crimson red and all that stuff, the like I only know that because I watched almost every episode he ever made, right? And I was fascinated by it. And a lot of people watch that series. And that it wasn't just his voice. Like, you wanted to see what he was doing too. You wanted to see the world being built. So that's why I think if I market this as, I'm painting a city. Like, you can watch, this is the base layers we're doing here, right? This is Bob Ross doing those background mountains, doing that water layers. I haven't added the trees yet. The trees come in later. Like, literally, it's just a tool. You spray on trees in the game, but this is an art to it, and it takes, like, this game takes months to finish. So you can watch it getting built. It's it's got the appeal in that it's got continuation to it. So I think if I market myself a little bit in the vein that Bob Ross was marketed, I think, have my hair looking like his for a little bit, having the easel. I think that the spirit of it could exist in this show, and that's one of the objectives. I think that, again, I'm listening to it as I do it, so I think I don't get bored listening to these episodes. Like, most of them, I don't. Like, there's a couple of earlier in the series where it just goes on too long. So, anyways, I think we're gonna consider winding this episode down. I want to get into testing that mic again, see if there's one final set of tools, which I shouldn't have to do, that can make it work. But oh, look at that! That's almost done. This would be nice if it was done. I want to find a project here that we've been working on that's been kind of completed during the episode, and just sort of have a look at that. And then in the next episode will be 1966. I don't want to go more than 1 year at a time between episodes, and we'll see how things are going. Like, people aren't ready to move in here yet. I know the cinema was done quick, but it's not going to be enough. You know what? Let's make this a medium priority. One thing is we're getting oh my god, we got so much gravel here. We could start using, see, this contraption here brings gravel out of there, and it brings it here so the trucks don't have to go all the way in there to get the gravel. But we're going to have a prefab factory around here too, so I'm not sure if this will fit exactly. So I don't want to build this until the prefab panels factory is being built. So you know what I think we could do here to save some money and some traffic and a bunch of things? Maybe we'll wind it out at that. Is we'll change it so that we got so much gravel that we'll start getting some domestic gravel. So we've been making this gravel via our gravel recycling facility. It's been delivering trucks of it, well, as fast as we could. It appears there's some trucks not arriving right now. But yeah, these workers are just wasting. Let's do a little quick check on our track here. Oh my, we're moving along. Yeah, we're almost at the border here. That could be something that's done for next episode. Our rails could get started soon. We're still going to have to connect to the depot to assemble a train. Yeah, then we can start bringing in, we might want to enable this here. Yeah, it's low priority. So we might be able to, in a few episodes at least, start hauling in the construction waste and dropping it off into the bin here, and start producing our gravel that way without all these trucks. It's so inefficient to do it that way. So maybe we'll log off on that. Sort of the final scene is this guy here. We'll just watch him. Maybe he'll start heading back shortly. Yeah, I think we'll call that an episode. There's no big. The cathedral's not done, but we're getting progress. It's one step at a time. One microphone at a time, one idea at a time, one impression at a time. So if you like this episode, leave the feedback. Message or leave comments, suggestions, ways to improve it, and. Check me out. I'll be on social media soon enough. Brento Dump House, or not Dump House, Brento Dump City on Twitter. So yeah, follow that too. I'm gonna get onto Reddit as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next week.